on the subject of nightmares, I'm going to be talking about two sides of stress that happen in business and franchise. I'll just introduce myself for those who don't know. I'm Neil Patel from Kri Yoga. It's a franchise in itself. We've been going to a business that's been going 26 years. We first started teaching in the UK in 1976 through my mother Tara Patel, who made the first VHS yoga video series on BBC the first time. She was one of the pioneers of yoga in the country from India. I took over in 1990. So yeah, it's a franchise. I have franchisees. One of my teachers, Micah Rafali, is here, and one of my staff, Anami, is over there. So it's good. It's a yoga franchise. So you can imagine that we try to handle stress better. One of the things that we do, I don't know if I mentioned at the last meeting, is that we don't allow staff in the office before 11 o'clock in the morning. Anyone want a job?
Yeah, what time do they leave?
They leave when they're ready. They leave 6:30. It's a little bit longer than a normal day, 6:30, but that's it. Then they have to go because I've got to go to the gym. But basically, the idea is that the morning should be spent having a relaxed breakfast. They shouldn't be on the train with everyone rushing around. They should meditate in the mornings, take it easy, do some writing, read a book, start their day in a relaxed fashion, not like rats on a wheel, and then come to work. And these guys also work. The office is like 6.5, 7 hours straight work. They work efficiently. They work 6, 7 hours. Then human beings normally are a bit tired and a bit inefficient. I send them home at that point, or to the gym or to a yoga class, and then they pick up work at night a little bit, an hour or so before bed, and then in the morning they do some if they want. And if they're late on their deadlines, they do a bit of work on the weekend. But it's like treating humans like humans, and the business runs, and it's okay, right? There's no real issues that we have, and everything's efficient. Everyone's kind of happy. It looks like it. But the idea is that not to put excess pressure and stress on people. People will perform better if you treat them more like people, rather than wind them up, get as much out of them as you can, and then after 15 years, chuck them out and get a recruit in. Because kind of that's how it works in a lot of industries. I do a lot of work with corporate yoga as well, companies like Martin's company, HSBC, and so on and so forth. So yeah, so today I'm going to show you two sides of stress, talk about it, and then we're going to practice a little bit of breathing exercise for 2-3 minutes and just see how you guys feel afterwards. So beginning, this is alcohol. No. This is gin. Keeping you going. No. So to beginning, just to update you on how it's kind of looking in the industry of work at the moment. So work-related stress, anxiety, and depression. Depression, by the way, is a big thing. Mental health issues at the moment. It was swept under the rug a lot for the 80s and 90s and the zeros, but now it's becoming a real problem, and it's being spoken about, thankfully, a lot more, and it needs to be taken seriously. The stats in Great Britain, 2014, from the Health and Safety Executive, and they use figures from the Labour Force survey. The total number of work-related stress, depression, or anxiety cases was nearly 500,000 last year, 440,000. Almost half of those were new cases, which is really shocking, which means that either people are getting stressed more or they're coming forward more. It could be either or. But that is still 250,000 new cases last year, and 500,000 in total. The total number of this is really interesting for those of you that run businesses. The total number of working days that were lost due to this condition was, any idea how many days? 9.9 million. 9.9 million days were lost last year in the UK. This equates to 23 days lost per case. So just below 500,000. So each person that had stress, anxiety, and depression cost the company 23 days' work. So we're talking about 9.9 million days. That's a hell of a lot. That's a big problem. 2014-15, stress conditions accounted for 35% of all work-related ill health cases. 35%. So not biological things, as it were, but mental things. And 43% of all working days lost was stress-related. So it's a big, big problem. A Deloitte study, the latest one we could find for this meeting was actually done in New York. So it's a September 16th?
Yeah, September 2016.
September 2016. They surveyed 23,000 workers, and 35% of all, 28% reported that they were always or often stressed, And when you say the word always or often stressed, it means too much stress. I want to talk about positive stress as well, because I don't believe it's a dirty word, but stressed, 28%. And 57% said they were sometimes stressed. It's not good to have anyone reporting that they're stressed, because that means it's too much stress. It's an interesting point in all these studies show that type Bs suffer more stress. So type Bs typically are people that need better communication at work, they need more understanding, they're people. You know, they like things to be going, they need things organized, they need some stability as well. So they came up with over half of the cases, well more than half. And the type A's were fine because they just drive until they drop. So they don't complain, they don't hold everything in, and then they have a heart attack. So, well, this is how it goes, it's burnout, right? A lot of you find the stockbroking, right? There are a lot like they just work and then they just fall off the end. So the type Bs would benefit from some stress management because they would last longer in their career. And type Bs are so necessary in a business because they're the glue. They keep everybody happy, they make relationships work. Type A's are drivers, they get a lot of things done, but you need them for longer. So if they get regular breaks, like, okay, you're going to relax now and do some meditation or yoga or Pilates or whatever, so just to sustain your batteries for longer, you're going to get 20%, 30% more out of them at their career. So generally looking after people is going to be better for all aspects of personality in a business. So that's kind of looking at the negative side of stress, and I think what we all need to be looking at in business, franchise or not. Any points on that before I go on to the positive side? Can any of you relate to that, or?
Was there a particular level of management that was more evident?
I didn't know much about the management side of it. I tell you what industries were very affected was health, education, public-facing industries really were affected by stress a lot, as we know with the doctors kind of situations going on. So yeah, there's a problem in any business, and I find it in my company as well, that I've got to make sure I look after people are happy. I think at my last meeting I spoke about relationships being the most important part of a franchise. So okay, I'm going to read you something that I wrote called Oranges and Guitars, to try to explain things in a metaphorical way on the positive side of things. So bear with me and use your imagination as much as you can. It could be said that without stress the world would fall apart. Everything is under stress. A bridge, a guitar string, the stalk of an orange hanging from an orange tree. Everything is under stress. Stress is fine. Stress. It's too much stress that we have to look out for. Excess stress in nature creates premature circumstances like decay, disease or death. An extremely heavy orange can overstress the stalk, making it break and drop to the ground prematurely. It's fallen, it's not ripe yet, so things break off too early. A guitar string wound up too tightly will not play the right note, and it would eventually break. Okay, but the right amount of stress is perfect. You're going to get that thing moving great and sounding perfect. A bridge with too much load, the stress is there, but too much, it breaks. So what I'm trying to say is that there is a perfect amount of stress. We've got to find it. Too much, and we will all break. As humans, we like to achieve goals, and we need stress to achieve goals. We need pressure. Right? But there's such a fine line between what is too much. Stress then turns to distress. And that's what a lot of what's going on is people are pushed to distress and then they break. But it seems to be that conveyor belt works well financially for people, for the bosses. It's at the point where it's distress that action needs to be taken. One person's healthy level of stress is another person's nervous breakdown. So the type A's, they need it. So you've got to actually work on an individual basis and understand people's stress. But for other people, that's going to knock them out. One morning a person could have an argument with their wife or their partner, come to work and take it out at work if their stress levels are too high. So you've got to be watching how people are working. Is it going to be internal combustion or external eruption? Internal combustion, breakdowns; external eruption, rage, arguments in the office place. Stress, I'm signing off. Sign me off. Right? I'm going to go and see. I'm going to get my doctor to sign me off. It's this kind of management. So basically, prevention is better than cure. A little bit of meditation, relaxation, time management, well, so that our staff are working better. But you do not get rid of the stress. Can you all relate to that? Do you all understand what I mean by that part of things? Getting that balance right. So why I said I get my staff in the office 7 hours a day, work really hard. At that point, I push them, and then I let them go. Because I know if you push them 9-10 hours, they're going to die. Yeah, my profits will go lower if I don't push them. But you know, life is more than profits, right? It's happy people, happy relationships. That's also what makes a happy business and happy customers. So you find that balance and don't push it. It's not all about money, right? Any questions on that before I show you a technique?